Hello and welcome. Today we're going to be working on an RS6 C5 and we are going to be removing the interior of the door. So let's get to it. Today we are going to be removing the whole card off the door, and this job is pretty simple. All you have to do is remove the window switch. You do that by accessing a small hole which is located under the armrest, and then you have to remove a couple of screws. One that is found on this area, this end of the door, and then the other one which is found right here next to the mirror on the other end of the door. Removing those three things should make it possible to take the entire unit apart. Then, of course, you are going to have to remove the window switch and disconnect the electrical connection. So let's do that right now. You go in the screwdriver through the hole and then sort of vertical, as perpendicular to the floor as possible. And then you just try and find some sort of spring which is located there, and then just push upward. If you don't feel any resistance like a spring, then you're not doing it correctly. And as you can see, as soon as you activate the spring, it automatically pops up. And it's as easy as that. And then just remove the electrical connection, which is located right there. And that's done through a series of tabs which are located on that area. It's a matter of pulling the tabs in carefully, and then once the tabs are actioned, the electrical connection should come out. You need to do this step rather carefully because the risk of breaking the electrical connector is obviously high. And then that's it, it's removed. Next step will be removing the two screws. One additional thing to take into account is the electrical connection is going to have to come through this foam. We do that as a next step after we remove the screws on each end of the card. That is so that we can give enough room for the cable to come out. So right now it can stay like this, and let's just take the screws off the door. So let's do that next. That's the first screw. Then this one here, it comes off very easily. There it is. Very easily, but accessing it is a bit difficult, but there it is. As it stands right now, the door card should be removable. One good thing to do is to lock the door, and that way you can get it out. The next step is to pull the card out, and the process is fairly simple. This door will have many clips on the interior, and these clips are not type of pull out. These are the type of clips that sort of hook onto the supports. For you to remove the card, all you have to do is lift, as you can see, upwards the card, and then pull it outwards. Once you do that, the card begins to make its way out, but do not forget that there will be quite a lot of electrical connections to be disconnected, as well as the locks. So as you can see on the inside, you have the cable that connects to the lock. That will have to be unhooked. Then you have the electrical connector that we were talking about before, and this one we can cleanly pull it out through the foam like that. And then we also need to disconnect the speakers from here. Speakers and a couple of other connections here. These are tabbed connections that need to come out with a flat screwdriver. These connectors are very flimsy, so you're gonna have to be really careful how you pry it out. So let's do that right now. We just need to lift this flap out and then very carefully persuade each of the flaps of the connector so that it starts to make its way out, and then eventually it pops out like that. So again, do not apply too much force on these flaps, else they will break. This is exactly the same process all throughout the other connectors, just as you can see there, hopefully. And the last one is the most difficult one to take out, but it wasn't too bad. So next step is to fish the connection from the lock over to the card. And if you look at the inside of the card here, there's going to be a hook that goes into the door latch. We need to take that hook off and then remove this cable off this area like that. And then we remove the hook of the latch like that, and that's it. That's removed, and the process of removing the card is done and there it is, ready. All right, so thank you for joining, and we'll see you next time.